So I guess the real question is a couple things. One, who would expect Trump's name to not be on the Epstein list? I mean, they were both affluent in the 80s. They're both wealthy men in the 90s in the same similar circles. I would expect, honestly, I'd be surprised if Trump's name wasn't on the Epstein files. We know these Epstein files exist. We've also figured out that the Epstein files were being used as leverage on national media to scare other people into alignment, into Trump's order. Trump then effectively hung his reputation on there are no Epstein files, which was a message out to those who he had effectively had leverage on, saying, all right, I'll make these files go away. One, how truly relevant is the file? Because we don't know. And we all, society, community-wise, we're all concerned about their pedophiles out here who are multimillionaires and billionaires. And if that flight log means you're automatically a pedophile, does it? Does it? If you're on the flight, if you're Beyonce on the flight and you're going to visit this amazing island, there are many people who partied with Diddy and never saw what was going on behind closed doors because they left. They're like, there was a lot of fun. I stayed on the nice side of the island. I didn't even know about the other side of the island because that's not my interest. There are plenty of people who partied with Diddy and never knew that side. Maybe there are plenty of people who partied, I imagine, with Epstein, who was in a world of circles and didn't know that side of him. I don't know. All I'm saying is, as a society, and as a supporter of Trump, which one of us is perfect? Where do we say, listen, he's just human? Some things you got to accept with the humans, you know? Now, if we see that there's no pictures, there's nothing incriminating of Trump. It's just we see a flight log. He went to go visit the island a couple times, and we don't know anything beyond that. Here, then, is what we do have left. What do we do know? We do know that Stormy Daniels is his type. Have you seen Stormy Daniels? You should Google Stormy Daniels. When I look at Stormy Daniels, I see a grown woman. So I know that his type is a grown woman. He is so much his type that he will move money around to get with this grown woman, and even got it okay by the wife. You had to get okay by the wife. You moving that kind of money around. The wife is right here. She was like, all right, she meets the standard. Come on. I would bet maybe there was a flight or two. They were very popular at the time. They all had money. Everybody kings are visiting other kings' islands. I wouldn't be surprised at that. I would bet there's no harder evidence. There's nothing more than that. And because the public just automatically assume people are guilty, given limited information, I would assume that he doesn't want that information to get out because you'll prejudge him without even knowing the context, without even doing the math. And the proper math says, my boy likes Stormy Daniels. He likes a high caliber woman. He's not after girls. I think the king should have just kind of fell on that sword. And then like, I know the guy. Of course I know the guy. Of course I partied with the guy. Are you kidding me? Of course we were at the same penthouse parties back in '85. Of course, we were all making money. How we can't miss each other. Of course it was a picture or two. I don't know the guy like that. Or maybe we had a couple conversations. We didn't do business together. We didn't run in the same circles like that. We didn't run in the same business circles, even though we ran the same social circles. Duh. I saw Trump say there's one person that was greater than me. There's one human that did more than me, that's more popular than me. The man I serve, Christ.
He said to me the other day, you're the most famous person in the world by far. I said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. They said, yes, you are. I said, no. They said, who's more famous? I said, Jesus Christ. I'm not taking any chances. I'm not going to have an argument. Hey, I'm not having any arguments. You know, you still need help from the boss. We need help from the boss. That's what happened. We need help. Right?
Christ Jesus is what this man said. Listen, I believe they had probably a little bit of evidence that Trump was on a couple flights. So everybody's like, oh, well, we know Trump wasn't really in the knee in the dirt in the midst of the crap that we were in, but at least he was on the flight log, so he has something to lose too. Yeah, but Trump was used to taking that. So Trump was like, man, this is dust off my back. I never did anything. I never did anything wrong. I just went, go check out the guy's island a couple of times, good flights. That was cool. Hang out with some really smart people, world leaders, and took my ass back to the crib. I got shit to do. I got an empire to continue to build. That's what else could I want in a leader? I've never had a hero until now. I've never seen a man realistically, after doing the math, landing on this man is truly a hero. Well, there's Trump. I see a motivational figure. I know a man of God when I see one. I know a man who's protected by God when I see one. I'm grounded here in reality, in the real world. I can see for myself when miracles are happening all around someone who also aligns with my understanding and worldviews. I see an aspiration. We too, men, can have heroes. What do you think Jesus is? I would further argue that I understand Trump's method and mentality when it comes to dealing with his enemies. I saw that the Democratic Party tried to assassinate this man twice. Not only physically with a bullet 2 times, but also politically, emotionally, character, financially. They came at him from every angle. And I see the way in which Trump handled his enemies. He didn't handle his enemies in a way that was loud, obnoxious. No, he dismantled them piece by piece while at the same time defending himself, saying, okay, you think you have something on me. In fact, I have things on you. I have real things on you because I see a man that moves in truth. I see a man that moves with divination. It's very obvious. So when he achieves his goal of being the president of the United States a second time, now he goes in and says, I'm going to dismantle your false operation demon brick by brick. I see a man that moves the way God moves. I see a man that is anointed. I see a man that says, I'm going to handle my enemies. I see a man that is accepted, that God told him, I will put you at the head of the table of your enemies. You will sit there and they will feel the glory of God in the way in which you move and the decisions in which you make and the justice in which you exact. I see that as well. Where are you? What are you seeing? What are you missing?